Welcome back. Been a week since that break-in at the Pelosi residence out there in San Francisco. We're learning more about the man charged with breaking into that home last Friday and attacking her husband, 82-year-old Paul Pelosi, with a hammer.
Yeah, the Department of Homeland Security says David DePape is in the U.S. illegally and may face deportation. Joining us now for more is former acting Border Patrol Commissioner Mark Morgan and constitutional law attorney and Newsmax contributor Ameer Benno. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us this morning. Mark, I want to start with you. According to federal records, DePape, who is Canadian, he entered the U.S. on March 8th via the California-Mexico border as a temporary visitor. He was in the U.S. past that 6-month deadline and should have been flagged by immigration officials. Are you surprised about all of this?
No, I'm not. And look, we're talking about may be deported and possibly deported. That's where we're at right now. I can tell you under the Trump administration, this wouldn't be a question. It would be assumed that this individual would be deported. And quite frankly, obviously should have been deported. But right now, under this administration, these individuals like this, they're not a priority. Secretary Mayorkas has set a new parameter. He's basically gutted ICE and prevented them from doing their job to protect American people and enforce immigration law by deporting people that are here illegally. Look, right now, this individual, if he's not convicted under the current restrictions under this Secretary Mayorkas, he won't be a priority because right now under this administration, you have to be a known or suspected terrorist or convicted of an aggravated felon before you're deported. And right now, what that has resulted in the last 2 years of detainers not being placed on illegal aliens that have committed additional crimes. But in addition to that, we've had illegal aliens in custody that have been released that committed another crime back in the communities. That's where we're at right now.
Really fascinating, Mark. Basically what you're saying is that crime in this country is directly related to the Democrats' broken border policies, whether they come in illegally from the north or the south. This crime is a direct result of their own policies. So you could make the argument. That's fascinating. Ameer, the left also wants to characterize David DePape, this 42-year-old hippie nudist who had a BLM flag in his residence and a pride flag. Not somebody, by the way, who you typically would associate as being a Trump supporter. The left wants to characterize this person as a big MAGA Trump supporter. I don't buy that personally. But there are cameras inside and outside of the Pelosi residence. None of that will be released. It will be shown to the family. Also, the police body cam, none of that will be released. It seems like if this was any other person and it wasn't the Pelosi residence, we would a week later have a lot of answers to very basic questions. From a legal perspective, have you seen something like this happen before?
Well, no, first of all, just to say, Rob, he came in through the southern border. He may be from Canada, but he came in through the southern border. This is a non-existent southern border policy that's to blame. And it's not surprising that they're going to try to paint this person with it's Republican extremism. Isn't that what the Democrats are trying to do? That's what Biden has, gave his speech on the other day. So, of course, they're going to try to fit this square peg into that round hole. But in terms of the camera footage, look, it was the left that pushed and pushed and pushed that all police need to have body cameras. But then when it turns out that one of their own is the subject of this sort of an attack, why are they resisting turning this over? In California, that's considered public property. We saw the same thing happen when Paul Pelosi was pulled over for the DWI. Remember the dash cam footage from those police cruisers? It took a fight to get any of those videos released.
Right.
So when they want to cover their own, they're going to suddenly say that these policies that they push so hard to implement don't apply. And that's troubling. And it should be troubling to everybody because it's the complete opposite of transparency.
Ameer, just a quick follow-up. You said that it's public property. So can somebody get access to that?
Well, you certainly could do a freedom of information law. They call it something different in California, but you could do a freedom of information request for it. There are certain exemptions that would apply if there's a current criminal investigation underway. They may throw up roadblocks and say they don't have to turn it over. But ultimately, that is all discoverable material, and the public should be allowed to see what was depicted in those videos.
Mark, I thought that in sanctuary cities, ICE was prohibited from cooperating with law enforcement. Apparently, this is an exception, this case?
No, not actually. So right now, from my sources, I'm hearing that they're actually not cooperating with ICE. Look, ICE placed a detainer but that doesn't mean it's going to actually be enacted by local law enforcement. So this is going to be something very interesting to see if the sanctuary cities that are prohibited from working with ICE, look, the San Francisco law enforcement, they're not working with ICE on a daily basis. They're literally releasing criminals on a regular basis and not working with ICE with respect to detainers.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting if they do on this case. And Rob, real quick, with respect to your crime comment, you're absolutely right. Look, I'll get a quick stat. From 2011 to 2022, 261,000 illegal aliens committed 433,000 crimes, including 800 homicides, 800 kidnappings, and 5,000 sexual assaults. Here's the kicker. That was in the state of Texas alone. So, yeah, our open borders directly relate to our criminal problem.
Yeah, and the administration not really addressing it at all. Ameer Benno, Mark Morgan, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Have a great weekend. Thank you.
You bet.